Hello, everyone. This is Dean Hill, your independent candidate for U.S. Senate. Now, as you all know, first of all, we could talk about my haircut. Of course, we're doing home haircuts. I'm ex-military. I like it. I don't care. My wife don't like these high and tights and stuff so much, but it's not very tight anyway, so it feels good. And I like it. I'm sure everybody's got their hair stories now. Um, Sorry if I don't look professional enough for some of y'all, but the people that are calling themselves professionals, wearing their little press suits, making all this money off of us, these politicians, aren't the people that should be in office, as we all know. Um, I'm running as independent again, as you know. Democrats and Republicans, I mean, they're not doing anything for us. It seems like Republicans are helping now, but that's just because Democrats are, going so bad. And these are the leaders, of course. I know the people in this America that are in the Democratic or Republican Party are good people, and a lot of times aren't agreeing. There are people that do agree with the craziness that's going on. There are people that think they can take a republic like ours that we work so hard for and turn it into a communist or socialist nation based on wanting everything to be even and fair, which it never is even and fair. It never will be. That's first thing you'll learn in psychology. Not first thing, but you have to study. You can never have a utopia. If I meet with one of you all and we like each other and we're going to buy 1,000 acres and have a family, each family on that, one of our kids won't like what we do. They'll argue with us. They'll try to take over. Somebody won't power. There'll be somebody with what you call evil in their hearts. It just don't work. It never will. So right now though, we're actually almost there anyway. I've got many ideas on what's really going on in the world right now. Don't know that all of them are true, but one thing that is true is they're using this virus to get just about whatever they want, the Democratic Party especially. Money to the Kennedy Center. I mean, when Nancy Pelosi and Schumer and the gang tacked on all these things to a bill that was necessary, and I know that's how politics works. Now, we're also supposed to be in an ethical world. We're supposed to be, talking about people, different types of ethics that you could have, which is utilitarianism, deontology, virtuous. Being virtuous is the most important to me and doing what's correct. If those people cared about us, they would have put that bill through clean. Instead, they try to get themselves a raise. They try to get money for abortion clinics. I mean, I could go on all day about all the things they were trying to get in there and they're trying to do. The president's in a no-win situation. He is not able to stop closing things because he's got the, if it's pronounced Fauci, telling him not to, which is Democrats are behind him, whichever way you believe. And if he doesn't, they're going to say that he ruined everything. They're already trying to investigate him during this. We're all locked at home. Not really locked at home because I wouldn't agree with that at all. We'd have big problems. But in some states, they're trying to take away the Second Amendment, tell people they can't go buy liquor. I mean, if you're going to be in your house for 3 weeks and you're somebody that likes to have a drink and relax, that's crazy. I don't particularly drink a lot, but I can understand. That's just like my stance on marijuana. For it to be a drug that sits beside LSD as a class 1 was ridiculous. I don't partake in marijuana, but I mean, seriously, you put somebody in jail for that. Right now, they've arrested a man who was paddleboarding in the middle of the ocean. They've gotten people. Even my father saw me in the backyard planting plants at our house and thought that it was so bad. They got people so crazy on CNN, especially senile older people. That's air outside. Now, if this stuff is flowing through the air, that's a whole different kind of virus, and we know that's an issue, and we know that someone's attacking us. So that shouldn't be happening. I mean, what they're talking about is being stuck in a house, going from house to house, seeing your family, sitting with them, touching, breathing the air. But outside where the air is flowing nice and you're 6 feet away from somebody, I mean, come on. This is just silliness. So the cops arrested the guy paddleboarding, or I guess the cops came because I saw that it was cops. They came after the national, I just forgot the name of it. I want to say National Guard called them. But they put handcuffs on him, touched him on each arm, and walked him to their car. I mean, there's a point where you're just into some silliness here. That is actually way more dangerous than a guy paddleboarding out in the ocean. Did the same thing to a surfer. Stopping people driving in their cars. If I'm in my car I have a condo. I have rentals that need to be mowed. I have my father's house where I'm seeding plants. In Tennessee, if they come to us talking about stopping us from going places, that's not going to work for me. I mean, well, that's silliness. Why couldn't I be in my car? I mean, unless it's some biological warfare being dropped out of the air. I was ex-military, and I was places where you would have to wear gas mask and all that. I have no reason to think this is like that. I do understand they're want people to quit going places and spreading it, but it's kind of ridiculous as far as they want to go with some people. They need to use common sense. So discussing what the Democrats have been doing and how they're pushing this and how the president can't get out of this, what he's having to do right now, even though he's been doing everything he could do from the beginning, and it's obvious with nobody knowing. I've heard these guys say, "Oh, we would, or if you gave us money, we would have tested, we would have got a vaccine." You couldn't get a vaccine if you didn't know what existed. That seems like a Freudian slip to me. You got Bill Gates coming up talking about how, "Oh yeah, I'll help with all my money," and it's talking like he knows about viruses and all this. He knows about window viruses. He's not a doctor. He's also came on out in front of people and stated that he wants to depopulate the world. He has something to do with the Wuhan lab. Soros has something to do with the Wuhan lab. They've been talking for the last couple of years how they wished our economy would be wrecked, how they wish they could change everything, and it's happening. And now he's going to come and be the hero. This is all scary stuff, people. This is why you need an independent. I don't care about the money. I don't care about making money while there. I care about making good decisions and going after the people we need to go after. The people who like actually our president's been going after, that are molesting children, keeping them in cages, all this stuff. These people they let them die. They kill them when they get a big guy like Epstein that could have turned he could turn all of them in. I guarantee he could have turned all of them in. But they're all worried about their jobs. They're all worried about their money. They're doing fine right now while you all are at home barely having food to cook. I know there's a lot of people out there, especially in Tennessee, that are living week by week, month by month because of the system we were set up on. In Williams County, we still have $2 and something gas, while everybody else is having almost under $1 gas for most places. It's getting silly. And then there are those of you out there that say I'm a conservative. Well, here's the thing again. Like I said, I was pre-med, my degree's in psychology and everything. If a man were just a conservative, I would be concerned. It's all these titles. If a man were just a liberal, especially a whacked out liberal, I would be concerned. If he is liberal-ish and has liberal ideas, that makes sense. If he's progressive and has progressive ideas, that also makes sense. If he's a bit of a conservative, that would make sense. In business, my master's that I'm almost done with again is business again. Had a minor's in business. You're supposed to hire people that can fill your gaps. If you can't do accounting, you hire an accountant. If I, in my own head, have to be 3 people at least. If I'm talking to people and I'm going to decide to be the conservative one, I want a progressive right here. I want a liberal right here. Again, we don't want the far right conservative. We want the far left liberal. We don't want the crazy progressive like we had here in Nashville. Our governor, she was kicked out. I don't even remember her name, Barry something. I didn't care much about her because I already knew something was up with her. And then she got kicked out for doing a bunch of crazy stuff. She basically went in progressively, hired 20 people, wanting to put more taxes on, wanting us to pay for more people. They didn't do anything. That's progressive for no reason. Okay, so if I'm working on a law and I say I want to do this for people, as a conservative, I want to save money first, but the other person in my head that's progressive says, well, there's a couple ideas here that we could do that would be beneficial. They come up with new ideas. They're like, and this is how we should think. Everything has been a test. Every tax, every law that didn't work, that they add on top of it, they add on top another law, they add on top another tax that are not working. They're silliness. What I would do as a progressive is say, how can I do this a new way? That's my second person. Then on the other side of me is my liberal side that would say, those are all good ideas, but maybe minorities didn't have as much of a leg up to do what you're saying. How are we going to ensure those communities are helped? So I never give up my conservatism. I never give up my progressivism. I never give up my little liberal side. I take it all together. This is a normal way for a human being to work that's going to help their nation, by the way. And I say, yes, I want to save money and not tax people. I want this new idea to do it, and I want to make sure I don't hurt these people. It's just common sense to me. I don't understand where all this argument is. And well, it's a lot of hate is what it really is. Sometimes when I say things to people, I've heard that, oh, you're just a racist. And I'm like, no, you don't understand my thinking through of this. It isn't about race at all. Especially when, they meet my wife and they're like, oh, your wife's Mexican. I never would have guessed. I'm like, well, why not? I don't hate anybody. I don't hate any Mexican people. I don't hate any Guatemala. I don't hate any Africans. There's no hate for people. What there is laws that need to be changed. One of my biggest arguments with people are immigration. They got people so riled up and fighting for each side. I did my wife's paperwork and my stepdaughters. It isn't really a problem as much with what the people are doing as the laws that are making them do it. It's very hard for people from South America to come to America, but if you're from a nation known to be full of terrorists, and that's been a lot of people's problem with our president now, he locked those nations down once, they can just come over. I mean, they literally can get their paperwork done so quick. You have to take so long to do a person's from South America. They're so worried about them staying here, as opposed to people that are getting paid for by somebody else, which should always, raise a red flag, tons of money to get over here and do whatever it is they need. And there's tons of good people that come from the Middle East. That's true too. But that's why we need to vet them. So the vetting system, the paperwork system is a problem with immigration. They're trying to draw your attention away from all this. As you know, I'm running for the seat of Lamar Alexander, and I ran before for the seat of, right now I can't remember his name because I'm on here and I get a little nervous. But the one before wrote a lot of the deals with Iran. He wrote the paperwork for it where we gave them money and we did all this stuff for Iran that says death to America. For me, if you say death to America, that's my children, that's my family, that's my grandparents. We're done. I don't play these games. Oh, they didn't mean it. If somebody pulls a gun on me and tells them they're going to shoot me, that they mean it. It works in law like that. If I say I want to kill somebody, the law is going to be at my door knocking here. You wanted to kill somebody. The silliness. These are the silly things we got to get rid of. Lamar Alexander, back to him though, he does the Republican game where a lot of times he votes, and Marsha Blackburn's like this. Sorry if you like her, but they vote most of the time what we would think is proper, but then, like say something about a drug deal comes up, we should call it a drug deal because they're basically drug dealing and taking our money. Like with Marsha Blackburn, she dropped opiates all over our state. She pushed the law through the House and the Senate. Then she acted like she didn't know what the law was. When she walked it through and talked to people, it said that her and her husband made money on it. Now she's talking about China not making our medicines, which is fine. I totally agree with. But I'm very scared that she'll be anywhere around that bill because of what she's already done. Now, I know people didn't want the Democrats to win because of their perceiving them to be so much worse. Although they're both all crooked. You got to understand what I'm saying here. I'm not really for or against either one. There are some good people out there, some people trying, but when you get in the game, you're ruled by the parties. If I would have ran for Republican, and I would have won, they would immediately started helping me with my flyers, with people answering the phones. They put all kinds of money behind me, but then they would have reminded me they put that money behind me. So Lamar Alexander, they're all the same. They'll vote against, and Lamar Alexander was voting against a lot of things in the last month or two that he should have voted for, and he's always been like that. But you want a Republican because they have a Republican name behind them. And I always say I can ask 10 people what a Democrat is, they'll give me a different answer. I can ask 10 people what a Republican is, they'll give me a different answer. People think this gets into the psychology of decision making. And it is kind of a good decision, but not really. People are like, well, this one looks worse to me, so I'm going to vote for this one. But that's only a good decision if there's not another choice. And then in reasoning, they say, if I don't vote for, let's say, Republicans, that's what I get a lot when people come on my thing. If I don't vote for a Republican, then that means a Democrat won. That's how they got you. There is a third choice. There's a fourth and fifth choice because I'm not the only independent running. So really, if you got together and you voted for the proper person, like America was set up to be, we were supposed to take someone from Tennessee who's a normal worker, not a banker, could be a bartender, hopefully not like AOC, we'd hope, but a banker, someone who runs a store, someone who knows a little bit about business and stuff, or someone that just, is an all-around good person, understands things and makes good decisions. Send them up to Washington. They only stay for a couple years or so and come back. Because if you're in Washington for 20-something, 30-something years, you're no longer a Tennessean, period. and it's just tax, tax, tax on top of us. So that's why I'm not for the Republican or Democratic Party. And even though I could run and I could try to win and I could push it, and right now, unfortunately, I would. I mean, people ask me, yeah, if you make me choose, I would have had to run as try to be a Republican. But then I don't want to, because I don't believe in what they have either. What I believe in is Americans, and I believe Americans should be running this. And I believe we need people up there that won't make a decision based on how much money they can make in the future with it. Well, you see them too here lately, especially flip-flopping. You know that they're working against us. I mean, we have a president now giving away his pay, and we have other people asking for more money. They're not going to be short on money. You are. Anybody that still thinks that they care, the Pelosi's and Schumer's of the world, they don't. And they're hardcore Republicans, and I'm sorry, but you say, well, Mitch McConnell's doing so well right now. Mitch McConnell didn't get a backbone until he had a leader that wouldn't take anybody's stuff, until he had a leader that had enough money that didn't have to worry about making money off the government. And that is actually how psychologically they think that this is okay. Their thought is it's the what's the way? Sorry, I get nervous when I'm on here sometimes. The ends determine the means, however you say it. They think that it's okay, like, let's say here that they pushed, Marsha Blackburn pushed the law for drugs so that when opioids hit Tennessee, you can no longer track them. Well, she needed that money because she wants to run for another office. And personally, you have to have money, a nice house. You have to be able to invite people over. This is scary. I mean, y'all should watch movies about this and what happens with these people. When you start understanding it, they want the money and they say, well, I did all this, but I have the money now, I can run, now I can help people. And now I do see her trying to put some laws into effect and do good things. Ends justify the means. That's what I was trying to get to. Well, I don't like that. I don't believe that. I've even been told that, everybody has a skeleton in their closet. Yeah, but my skeleton isn't allowing drugs to come in and get all kinds of kids hooked up on it. I never was a drug dealer. I never wanted to hurt people in that way and gain financially gain from that. Whether I did great stuff later or not, I know people like that in my life, even family members that are rich, that think the ends justify the means of how they got rich, and now they try to help the family when they did a lot of things to the family too and other people in the communities. No, it's not how that works. That's not being virtuous. That's definitely not being virtuous. And a lot of you out there talking about how you're virtuous and hate racism, hate all this and that, and breed hate and want to hurt people and attack people. You're not being virtuous. Get over yourself. You're just trying to get attention and make people think you're good. We got to go back to the basics. I've disagreed with a lot of people in life. A lot of people have a lot of bad things to say about me because they didn't like my beliefs or didn't like that I disagreed. I didn't hit them with a bat. I didn't attack them. I didn't steal their stuff. I just disagreed with them. So that's way different from creating laws that hurt people so you make money off of it and you can run and then try to do better in your next spot. That's called compromising yourself. So this is what we need to get away from the government. This is what we need to see that both of them are doing. If you don't like what's going on right now, you wonder what's going on, you should keep checking into it. I'm still worried that they don't seem to know how this coronavirus is actually spread. I mean, we're getting things from doctors and nurses, but we're not getting any official statements. Now, as someone who has a scientific degree or science degree in science, however you want to state it, that's the first thing you do in research. A lot of things I don't understand about how their research is, and they have all these different areas. I mean, who was it now? I can't remember who it was that they're letting all their people just roam around and be free and seeing what happens there. It's not Switzerland. I just can't remember right now. But they're actually doing a test. They might get sick. The older people might die, good or bad. I'm not saying, but they're examining their tests to see what happens with that. Every place like Italy, all these places, doctors, they should all be writing down what they see. There should be research with this. We should have already found out if this outbreak is everywhere like they're saying. And I do believe it's bad in certain places. We should have doctors. I mean, what has happened to people? It used to be people would keep all kinds of notes. They would keep papers. They would keep research. I mean, why is nobody coming up with a notepad saying, look, this is what I've seen. This is what happened. This is what might be going on. Or at least just not even putting what might be going on. Why is there not just raw data with no feelings in it of what they're seeing? So we can understand exactly how it's moving, exactly what's going on. It's been going on since January. It's April now. I mean, we would have at least a month of those types of statistics that we could put together. So is nobody running this that does research or works on something like that? I'm really trying to figure this out. Now, it's kind of hard when you're shutting everybody up at home and not letting people go out and figure this stuff out and saying you're just going to die when a lot of people don't die. Some people should be going into these hospitals. They should be standing there. They should be taking notes. They should be watching. If the hospital staff is hurting too much, we have plenty of people with psychology degrees, research degrees. I was in quantitative statistics. I would have been one of the people that could have done this if I'd finished that master's degree. I couldn't because I had a family and I had to quit and go to work. But those I could do it now, even though I quit that. Just basically sit there and you take information and then you run it through systems. So I'm very confused on a lot of things they're doing now. Very confused how people are still believing in the Republican Democrat Party and saying the Republicans got to win. No, they don't. We need to win as people of this nation. We need to get rid of all these crazy people that are just have all these ideas that aren't for America. And I would say one more thing. What they go back to is the past. And I could talk about, and I've read, and I know culture, I know Incans, Aztecs, Olmecs, Spain, France. I know how they came up, how they made money, that gold was finite. I know how they stole, how they did everything. But here's the thing. Every nation stole the land they're on. You cannot name one nation as the same one from 10,000 years ago. At some point, and let's just use me, I woke up when I was born and I was an American. This is my land. No matter who did what, who hurt who, you can complain about it. I would always say, and this is what I think they should teach in history first in school, we were one of the first nations, when we became a nation, less than 100 years, we ended slavery. We worked on it right away. And it wasn't the North and the South that fought against it, it was the elites. Anybody that reads, you can go to the National Civil Rights Museum in Memphis, and you can read right on the wall where it says the Emancipation Proclamation released all slaves not loyal to the Union. The elites didn't want to let go. There were people trying to fight against them. The poor people didn't have slaves. It's silliness. But in 100 years, we ended something that went on for thousands and thousands of years in the world as soon as we got out from under England. And it's still going on today. And then people want to start, oh, well, chattel slavery is different and you're so bad. No. Again, I woke up, born in America, and it was my land. Well, people did it before that. I can't say for it. I can't, we can try to do what we can do to make sure it's just. And that's really the point. We look at history as an example of what not to repeat. I got a little Indian in me. The Indians were the same way. Cherokee were not always Cherokee. They didn't have certain lands. They fought for those lands or hunted those lands. If somebody came on, they might kill them. They did like me. A young brave woke up being born as a Cherokee, and that was his land that he knew, even though maybe the Choctaw owned it before. What are you going to do? This is our life, and this is our land, and we better preserve it, or we won't be us. We'll be other nations. We'll be other people, and guess what? The hate that they brewed about Americans, about us, will lead to us being the people that are beaten, incarcerated, enslaved, because it's okay, because we did it before, even though we never were there. Now, we weren't there 200 years ago. Now, you got to be very careful. This is why it's such a scary thing for people to act like that, because when people, and this is what people are doing now, especially what I call the crazy far left, especially liberals and Democrats. But, there are people who have common sense and are liberal and Democrats, and they're great people. I know a couple here in my area I talk to a lot. But what that hate generates is a feeling that they can do it. But guess what? That's the same feeling that slave owners had. That's the same feeling that people that killed the Indians had with the Wayward West, trying to trick people into thinking that was a Christian idea. Wayward West, Christ wants us to do it. God wants us to take this over. No, silliness. That's breeding hate to get what you want. So when they breed hate, this is what scares me the most about hearing this hate, especially when I talk about white men and things. You got to understand. We've read our history. We know what our history has done. We know how to work it. We know what they're doing. We know the hate's being bred, so that, like back in the old days, they would say so many things about black people. It's like, oh, they're not people. They're animals. They're this and that. The Jews, they're not people. They're animals. It's okay to kill them. Genghis Khan, they're not from our nation. It's okay to kill them, or they can fight with us. Islam, it's okay to kill anybody that doesn't agree with Islam, because Islam's going to rule. I mean, this is very simple logic, everyone. If you lasted this long and listened to what I was saying, and hopefully I wasn't off subject too much and kind of lost it there, but it's such broad information that people are playing all these little games with. I mean, it's pretty simple. We all need to help each other and do what's right for each other. We don't need new taxes. It's funny when people say no new taxes. Of course not. I always say we need less tax. We need to take taxes away. We need people to have their money. Sometimes you wonder if it's even worth it going to work. You got to pay for your kids to be watched. You got to buy food. You got to pay taxes on the food. You got to pay taxes on your income. You got to pay taxes on your house. You got to pay taxes on your car. You got to pay in the form of, people might say in Tennessee we don't do that, but yeah, you do. You buy tags. You got to pay taxes on admission in Williams County. That's $10 fee for going to get checked. Then thousands of dollars if your car don't work. So just listen to what I'm saying, even though it sounds like I'm ranting and it's crazy. This is not the way that it was meant to be. People were only supposed to be paid a per diem when they go to the Senate. They weren't supposed to live off of it. They weren't supposed to be making hundreds of millions of dollars, becoming rich, ruling us. I mean, we have ruling elites. You better believe it. It's an oligarchy. I mean, just look at the Newsoms and the Pelosi's running California and the Feinsteins. You've got these ruling elite families, and Trump's family is going to be a ruling elite family. Can I say that they won't go against us? No. So those that are, I'm not mad at those that speculate. Right now, it's just frustrating that all they want to do is attack our president. He might have some reasons to be attacked. I might agree with you on a few little reasons, but to constantly be on him and during the middle of this virus where we're stuck at home, they're starting to open a new assault on him. They're trying to set up a committee to see if he did this coronavirus thing. I mean, it's obvious at this point. That's ridiculous, and I'm sorry for you all that can't see it. I always ask people, would you like to start a job and immediately somebody comes up to you, they don't like you, what you say to them, and they start getting everyone against you. They always talk about you. They try to send letters in to get you reprimanded for things. I've had that. I've worked for the federal government. You can't work for the federal government and be an honest person that is virtuous hardly. When you try your best, and I know a lot of people that try and they hardly ever get promoted. You almost got to catch somebody else doing something that you know is bad. And then people get mad at you that knew them and liked them. That's exactly what's going on. This is not the way it's meant to be ran, people. So anyway, good luck with everything. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope you watch some of my videos on how to cook some things that cost less, because some of you people don't have money. And I'm not being mean. You were living paycheck to paycheck. I understand that. I've been there. I try to create my own money because of that before this happened. Did a little bit of prepping myself because it's silly not to. People used to think preppers were crazy, but I always told people, even the Indians in Texas, they prepped. They would keep their corn for 2 years because stockpiled for 2 years because of droughts. We've had more than 2 instances in America where we've had Dust Bowl, depression, different things where people didn't have money and living off soup basically. Making soup out of leather belts. Now you can do that. You die. It's chemicals. Do not do that. So don't go blame me for that. There are chemicals all in those belts and leather. So people, take care of yourself. We're supposed to take care of each other. We're supposed to think of ways to take care of ourselves. If somebody says you're crazy, I even told my wife, I don't care anymore. If somebody thinks I'm crazy for something I'm going to do to buy a little extra gas and keep my cars topped off in case I need to head out to the country to a farm, you'll do that. I'll do that. It doesn't bother me that you think that I'm crazy. If I have if I bought 6 bags of rice, 6 bags of beans, that would be a meal for a day, and two bags of flour. You don't have to take from someone else. During the good times, you're supposed to do this, and that's been most people's problems. During the good times, I prepared and have heirloom seeds and things, and I grew up on a farm so I could plant them. But you don't want to take someone else, but then again, you have to feed your kids, and you don't want to be in a bad situation. So it's very simple to buy some cheap products that'll last you for about a week or so, and you don't really take it. It's like normal shopping. For me, I leave with a full shopping cart. I got too many kids. You can't tell me that I'm overbuying ever, because I got to buy lettuce, tomatoes, cucumbers, some maseca, some Mexican foods, some American foods. My kids like them all, and they will eat all that within 3 or 4 days. A full shopping cart, literally. So, and I was the same way when I was a kid. So we hope we don't have to strap our belts here a little tighter, and if we do, we're prepared for it. You all get prepared too. And I'm not saying go buy the store out. I'm just saying buy basic things that are easy. Look up ways to cook biscuits, to learn how to turn fat into gravy. Biscuits and gravy will get you through the day, and that's one of the cheapest things you could do besides beans and rice. So everybody prepare, because we don't know where this is going, and but prepare smartly. And you all take care and have a good day.